Hey guys, just thought I'd do another inbox review of a very iconic aircraft from the Cold War era, the mighty Nimrod. This kit was actually one that I actually bought off a fellow modeller, Duncan Ling, as he was selling off some of his stash, and he did me a very good deal on it. Actually, pricely somewhere around, I think it was about £30. It's a kit I've been after for ages. I know my brother's got one in his stash as well. Sadly, it's out of production at the moment. Hopefully Airfix will possibly at some time in the future retool this and bring it back out again, because they are going at silly rates on eBay at the moment, and I've been trying to get hold of one for the last 2 years. Thankfully Duncan was selling some off, so I grabbed the chance. So thank you, Duncan. Appreciate that, bud. As you know, this aircraft actually was a very well, it's chiefly a maritime patrol aircraft, and took over from the Avro Shackleton MR2 in 1969. And flew on until I think around about 2009, when they were going to upgrade them to the MR3 with the slightly more powerful engines and strengthened fuselages and more advanced avionics. But sadly the program was cancelled in 2010, and the two converted aircraft, or three, were sadly scrapped, and the whole program was cancelled. So really, in effect, that was the end of the Nimrod. There is a conversion set which I think you can get out there still, for this kit, to do it in the MR3 if you want to depict it as that, as sort of a what if. I for one am sad that it didn't go through, because I think it would have soldered on until at least, well, I'd say 2030. It would have been the longest serving aircraft in the Air Force's inventory. But it wasn't to be. But in essence, the MR1 and the MR2 did soldier on for quite a few years. Was also involved in the Fastnet race in I think it was 79, when we lost a lot of yachtsmen. They were out on patrol looking and searching for them. Also used in the Falklands War as well, and well, basically was used for anybody who was in distress. They were always on standby, always on patrol. Virtually converted from the airframe originally of the Comet. As you can see here, you've got the lines of the Comet in it. But as I say, a magnificent aircraft. I saw a few of them at air shows, and they put on such a graceful, excellent display. Very highly manoeuvrable aircraft as well. But there you go. As you can see here, this is a kit which I think was released in 2009. I may be wrong. I haven't got a date on this, unfortunately. I think I'm right, I might be wrong. But as you can see, the size of the box is just huge. It's huge. I mean, the aircraft itself is pretty big. I think there's one still running at is it Bruntingthorpe, where they do the taxi runs. They've still got one in operating order, but it's only in taxi form now. Sadly not flying. But it's good to see them still sort of soldering on anyway. But a magnificent looking aircraft all the same. Anyway, without further ado, we get on with the review. As you can see from the illustration on the box, this was one before they actually started putting the CAD drawings in. And this was when I think Hornby initially bought out Airfix. They brought this out. And as you can see here, it's on patrol during the Falklands campaign. You can see HMS Invincible with two destroyers either side. And he's just put out his chaff flares, just basically stop any missiles attacking it, you know. And he's obviously on patrol over the task force, as you can see there. You can do it in one of three versions. I can do it in the original MR1, I think the R1, which is a top secret surveillance version of the Nimrod, and the MR2. Okay. But as I say, there is a company out there, I can't remember the name, who do a conversion set if you want to do it into the MR3. So you could probably do that as a what if. The kit number, if you want to have a look, hang on, I'm going to have to move the camera here, is A1250. That's A1250. Okay, I'm just going to move the camera back again. And then on the side here's a little bit of information about the kit in various languages, as you can see there. Age 8+ onwards. I think an 8-year-old would find this a bit challenging. You've got the box art on the side here, and then on the other side, if I turn it up the other way, you've got a little brief history on the aircraft itself, the various markings you can do it in the kit. I think there's about about half a dozen versions you can do this in. And then obviously there's your variants that you can see here on the box. I'm having to move the camera again. Okay, so there you go. And it was obviously distributed by Hornby. Anyway, first off, I'm just going to pop this down on the bottom here. And it comes within a box. Within a box. Okay. We've got a second lid in there. I'm trying to get it off. And as you can see, it's quite a big kit. So it's a vast kit. So if you're going to build this, just make sure you've got plenty of space. Here's the instruction manual in the classic form of the Nimrod climbing away. In fact, I do remember seeing one of these fly out of Heathrow one time when I was in Windsor. I saw it flying overhead. So there you go. Then it goes on into the history of the aircraft, which you've got all down here in various languages. And then you're going on to, I think, the first steps. Here you've got all the symbols obviously to guide you when you're actually assembling the kit. And then obviously the first place that we start with is the cockpit. Now admittedly the cockpit is a little bit sparse. There's not much to it. 2 seats, navigator seat, back wall, control yokes, and then obviously the control panel, for which you've got a decal for right there. But to be honest, once you get this all buttoned up and closed, you're not going to see a lot anyway, so it doesn't really make much odds. And then obviously you've got the front undercarriage bay doors and assembly of those. Next step is obviously the bomb bay, which you can see here with the 2 bulkheads. You put that together, and then obviously the cockpit and the nose gear door section go together onto the front bulkhead of the bomb bay. And then obviously you assemble the rudder in 2 halves, then button up the fuselage, and they recommend 20 grams of weight in the nose, because obviously if you don't do that, it's going to be a heavy tail sitter. And obviously you've got the perspexes which go in as well. Okay, and then it's the assembly of the main undercarriage bays, which go into the wing, elevators, which you can see there, and then the engine inlets along with the compressor blades either side, as you can see there. Okay, and the next step after that is the assembly of the, hang on, have I jumped the gun? No, I haven't. Oh, there you have. Obviously you put the bomb bay, the bottom wings onto the upper part of the bomb bay, along with the elevators, the undercarriage bays, the exhaust nozzles, and the top wing. Okay, and then obviously you've got the engineering tapes that go in as well. Then you've got the assembly of the tail planes, which you can see here. Then the fuselage obviously mounts onto the wings, lower part of the bomb bay with the wings. And the tail planes go on, then the undercarriage goes on, air vents go on. Okay, and the next step if you wanted to, you can have obviously the bomb bay open with all the equipment, sonar buoys, etc., which can go in there. I might well do that, possibly. I'm going to get around to building this kit. And then obviously put the gear bay doors onto the main fuselage. Air vents go onto the top. Obviously the crew bay door goes in. You've got the cockpit that goes in. Oops. And then obviously the back entry doors there, crew gear doors. Now this is, if you're doing the Falklands War variant, you've got the refueling probe which goes on the top of the fuselage, depending on which version you want to do. Then the assembly of the ECM pods or chaff dispensers. Then you've got the, looks like the depth charges there. As you can see, you've got a torpedo there, another one. This is for the Falklands one where you can put your sidewinders on. I've got the feeling this might be the chaff dispensers, I'm not sure. Another ECM pod right here. Maybe it was a radar jamming pylon, I don't know. And then obviously if you're doing the MR1, that's what you need to do. You've got to drill holes at the top of the fuselage to put your I think your airspeed indicators on. And it's saying 9mm apart on the very top there. Obviously you've got the end of the ECM pods which go on, and they're telling you to cut into there. I don't know why. And then obviously you've got the rear radar array which goes on the back there. And this is the weapons load for the MR1 with your depth charges, etc., which go into the bomb bay. And then if you're doing the MR2 version, MR2P version, again the same, you've got drill holes in there for the airspeed indicators, and then more fairings which go on, another lumps and bumps, etc. Similar weapons load, obviously you've got 3 torpedoes there, maybe that's chaff dispensers, I don't know, and then sidewinders, and I'm not sure, I think that's Sea Eagle missiles going there as well, because I think this aircraft actually carried them as well. And you've got an ECM Pissot tube which goes on there somewhere. Okay. I'll have to do a bit more research on this aircraft because I don't really know a lot about it, so you'll have to bear with me on this, guys. And this is for the ordinary MR2. ECM pods either side. Similar layout again, and weapons load, as you can see here for the bottom. And then this one is called the Maid of Moray. That's another version. It must be another MR2. Again, telling you where to drill the holes for the various speed indicators, lumps of bumps, etc. You've got fairings on the back of the wing here, obviously because this is a latter variant. And then you've got a radar jamming pod which goes on there. Sea Eagle again goes into the bomb bay, etc. Okay. So this is for every version. Another MR2P, again your weapons load, where it all goes, etc. And then obviously with the RR1, they had a shorter stub of tail and radar equipment, etc., which is highly secret. And it's saying not to put any windows in there. Oh, okay. Well, maybe the R1 didn't have one. And then obviously the various lumps and bumps go on there as well, and the holes are indicated for all the fairings, etc. Okay. And then obviously, oh, this is going to be fun. This is basically where all your signs and stencil data go on the various variants for the MR1, MR2P, where are we? BAE Systems MR2P, another MR2P. So yeah, busy day decaling that would be, or 2 or 3 days decaling really. So that's for each individual version that you're doing. Okay, so that's going to be taking up a lot of time, I can tell you. And then obviously you've got the colour call outs. First version is for the original colour scheme when it first enters. Well, I'd say first entered, it was around about 1977 with the white and gold grey, which we all remember. And this is a variant of 203 Squadron, Lucroix, Malta, 1977. Okay. Next one is of a bird from 201 Squadron, Operation Corporate, Ascension Island, 1982, which is probably the variant that I'm going to do with a barley grey and obviously the lights aircraft grey underneath. Okay, and obviously got a nice little bit of nose art on the side there, so it's more than likely that I'm going to do this version. Next colour call out is an aircraft that was at the Fincastle Trophy 1988 in Richmond, Australia. And it's got a nice little nose art there as well. Same barley grey and light aircraft grey scheme. And this is from another aircraft of 201 Squadron. Okay, oh actually hemp, beg your pardon, it's called hemp, not barley grey. And then another one, which is a 42 Reconnaissance Squadron, or Reconnaissance Wing, Prince Sultan Air Base, Saudi Arabia, March 2003. So this was obviously the second Gulf War version as well. And then the next one is of the Nimrod Line Squadron. Doesn't tell you what unit. UK 2007, which was overall, I think, camouflage grey, which is the last colour scheme the aircraft was put in. And this is of a Charles aircraft in 1998, if you want to do a version of that as well. And then finally, we got one from 51 Squadron, Waddington 2007, the R1P, which was a highly secret aircraft. In fact, I think this was the last variant to retire from the Air Force. And you've got it in a two-tone grey, light aircraft grey on the top with normal camouflage grey on the overall part of the fuselage. That might be tempting, but we'll see. So there you go, that's the instruction sheet. Now we're going to have a look at the actual essential part of the kit itself. It all comes again in two big bags, as you can see here. Okay, you got that. I'll have a look at that in a minute. And then there's your decal sheet, as you can see here. Plenty of stencils, that's going to keep you busy. I think they're all done by cartograph, so there shouldn't be any problem with them bedding down. Beautiful markings here. I think they made them as the Gulf War version, as you can see there. Yeah, there's some. It's looking a bit shoddy, but I'm sure they're going to bed down beautifully. I think they're made by cartograph anyway. But yeah, very, very nice indeed, guys. And as I say, this stencil data, ooh, that's going to keep me busy, I'll tell you. And then you've got a separate decal sheet here for, I don't know, maybe it's just for the roundels, as you can see here. Okay. I think that's that. Oh, hang on, there's a little correction sheet here as well for all the versions, because apparently the air inlet goes on the back there as well, and they're telling you not to put it on there. So obviously they did a little bit of a boo-boo, and they're telling you to put part 12D in. So there you go. Right, let's have a look at the kit itself. I'm just going to open up the bag for the very first time since it was sealed at the factory. Let's have a look at it. So there's not a lot to the kit itself, to be honest with you. I mean, I think you can get some aftermarket for it if you want to upgrade it a bit. Let's have a look indeed. And obviously got the cellophane and foam covering any delicate parts. Right. This is the fuselage. Look at the length of it. It is just huge. Absolutely huge. It's got some really nice recessed panel line detail, which you can see here. I don't know if I can get it up close to the camera. You can have a look, guys. But it's beautifully moulded. I can't see any flash at all, which is very impressive. And I think they've wrapped that round there because there's a delicate part in there which I'm not going to unpack until I actually build the kit. As I say, it is a bit basic on the interior. I mean, there's your floor right there. There's not a lot to it. Your bulkheads, as we can see here. Oops, if I get it into shot. There you go, there's your bulkheads for the fuselage. Obviously the part for the bomb bay, which you can see here. And then obviously you've got the pods for your sidewinder missiles, etc. And that's your control panel where you put the decal in. Again, it's a little bit basic, but I think Edward do actually do a big ed set for this kit in particular, so I might search that one out. And then obviously that's that really, there's not a lot to it. And obviously you've got the end of the radar pods that you can see there for the various variants of whichever version you want to do. Okay. And then the next row, get it out the bag. As I say, this thing is huge. Look at the wingspan on it, it's just huge. This is the lower part of the wing, but the detailing, again, there's some beautiful recessed panel lines on there, panel columns which are beautifully caught. Admittedly, if there is any riveting, it might be worth going over Rosie with Rosie the Riveter on it, but at this scale I don't think you really need to worry. But beautiful moulding on it, lovely fine recessed panel line details there. This is the air inlets. There's your flaps, which you can see there. Again, there's no flash on them, beautifully crafted, and that's looking round the other end, as you can see there. It is just, look, I mean, look at the size of my hand, and the fuse, and this gives you a good impression of how big this kit is going to be when it's built. Look at that, it's huge. So that's the lower part of the wing. And then obviously you've got the upper part of the wing, which you can see here. And the detail on the interior of the gear bay doors is very nicely caught, as you can see there. Maybe you could add a little bit of wiring, etc. I don't know. Few injection mould marks, but by the time you get the wings on and the engines in, etc., you're not going to see that. So it's nothing to worry about. The only thing I am a bit disappointed is, if you wanted the bomb bay doors open, you have got the injector pin marks, so you're going to have to do some work on those, I'm afraid, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but considering when this was moulded, it's not surprising really. And then obviously you've got your tail planes right here, nice and clean, which you can see. But again, you just get a vast expanse of this size of this thing. It's huge. And then obviously you've got the ECM pods here, one side of them, for the MR2P version. Okay. But the thing I do like on the upper wing is the wing fences. They've caught them nicely as well. If this damn thing can get in the shot, as you can see there. So yeah, very nice. So that's the bag of first screws. I'm just going to put them back in now. And then obviously you've got your clear parts for your windows. I'm not going to take them out of the bag because I don't want to get them scratched. So they're very cleanly and nicely moulded, but as I say, with the cockpit detail being interior and sparse, you're not going to see a lot once this is on, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, it's up to you at the end of the day. If you want to super detail the interior, that's up to you. And then obviously you've got the windows here with a nice curvature, which is distinct from the old Comet airliner. So yeah, very nicely done. And I'm just going to put them all back in the bag now, if you'll bear with me. Try to get them back in. Sometimes not as easy to get back in as they are to get out. I'll try and get them back in the order they came out on. It seems to be working. And then obviously the last sprue we've got bagged up is going to be the weapons load mainly. Where's my scissors gone? Oh, here we go. Okay. Airfix certainly packed these up well. Or should I say Hornby? Right. Oh yeah, I see. Right, okay. Here you go, guys. This is mainly the weapons load. You got your torpedoes, jammers. This is your seats, obviously, for your cockpit. A little bit sparse, not much detail to them, but as I say, once you get, if you want to get the crew in there, that's fine. You probably just use some sort of masking tape for the seats, etc. So I think this is one of the weapons holders, I think, for one of the depth charges. I'm not sure. There you go, you got your torpedoes, Aztec torpedoes for sub hunting, because obviously this aircraft was also a sub hunter as well. Fairings for your sidewinders, various other bits and bobs and lumps and bumps, which you can see here. There's your depth charges, all there as well, which you can see. And then your radar jamming equipment, which goes on either wing of one of the versions, I think. And this is the other end. Exhaust nozzles. Now, there's not much to them, but they're a little bit blank inside. But again, I think Big Ed will do a big edge set for this if you want to super detail it. There you go. And then obviously in here, wrapped up, is your sidewinders. Okay, let's just do that so that they don't get broken, really. And then obviously there's your compressor blades for your Rolls-Royce Avon engines. There you go. Not bad at this scale. And then on the next sprue, we've got a duplicate sprue with the same sort of things again. And then on the final sprue, you've got your various ECM pods for whichever version you're going to build. Okay, and then here's your undercarriage legs for the main undercarriage. Not badly detailed, I have to say. And would look very nice weathered up. There's your crew figures. Same old sort of Airfix standard crew figures that you've known for years. I might put them in, I don't know, we'll see. And that, I think, is generally, and there's another pod there. ECM, there's another weapons loader there. If I can get it into focus, there you go. And that, my friends, is basically the kit in a nutshell. And then obviously got your main undercarriage leg there. It's a little bit crude. I might go from aftermarket gear, we'll see. And then obviously you got your control columns here, as you can see, nicely caught and authentic to the aircraft. And that is basically it, guys, really. That is the kit in a nutshell. Big old kit, definitely. I think it's going to build up into a beauty. I mean, I've seen a few of them built up at various model shows, and they do look impressive. And alongside the Vulcan and the Victor and the Valiant, they're huge. It's a huge, huge kit. But very, very welcome when it came out, because the only other kit you could get was a vac form one, to be honest with you. And when they actually announced they were going to release one many years ago, I was very, very chuffed, and I knew that was one kit I wanted to get hold of. It's taken me 20 odd years, but I managed to get hold of one at long last. Thank you to my friend Duncan. But if you can still source these on eBay, and unfortunately it's no longer in production. I mean, I have seen some model shops that still sell a few, but you can get loads of these on eBay. And as I say, I think Edward do a big Ed set for this as well, which I think I'm going to see if I can source and get hold of. I think this is going to be a project for the future, not immediately this year. I'll probably get around to building it at some stage. But as I say, it's an aircraft I've always wanted to get hold of, because it's such a beautiful, graceful, mighty looking aircraft, and it just oozes grace and power. So there you go. So that's my review of Airfix's BAE Nimrod. I hope you like what you saw. As I say, it's quite a basic kit. I think this was just on the premises of being produced before Airfix got into trouble, and then Hornby bailed them out, and they were in the sort of era of getting this done on the old moulds. Hopefully they will reissue this and retool it at some stage, because I know there's people out there crying for it to come out again. So there you go. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. So until the next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.